Yes, so welcome again to today's session where we're going to be talking about accommodation in Barcelona. We have Xavi Martin from Spotahome, who's going to be our expert today, talking about basically what you can expect and how to navigate, looking for your next student home in Barcelona. So Xavi, I don't know if you want to just introduce yourself quickly before I start bombarding you with questions.
Yeah, of course. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you all, guys. I'm Xavi. I am the key account manager and one of the main responsibles for the Spanish market at Spotahome. We are a 100% online platform for mid to long-term rentals. Okay. And our main target is actually student accommodation. So it's really nice to be here with you today. And any doubts or comments or that you may have, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to assist you.
Awesome. Thank you so much there for the introduction, Xavi. So basically what we want to do in today's session is to just talk about how the general housing market is in Barcelona so that you guys have a great overview of what you can expect when you start actually looking for accommodation. Xavi will also share some recommendations, tips, what you need to know when starting the search. We'd also like to talk about maybe things that non-EU students should prepare for, okay, because there might be some differences which Xavi may want to share with us. So just a bit of orientation for students who are not European and may have visa issues they need to also prepare, which sometimes is connected to accommodation. And then we're going to go more specifically into Spotahome services. And if you're thinking of reserving accommodation through Spotahome, how they can assist you with all of the process. Okay, so starting with my first question, Xavi.
Yeah.
What are what kind of accommodation can students expect to find in Barcelona? What's available in the market?
Well, actually, Barcelona is one of the most important places to be for students here in Spain, and has a huge offer in terms of students accommodations. Okay, you can find from student residences to room shared apartments of any kind and size, from 2 or 3 bedroom apartment where you can find one room for yourself, up to 10 or 20 rooms in the same apartment. Then you can find studios or 1 bedroom apartments if you want to live by yourself, or maybe you're going with a couple or with a friend. And then something that we have been seeing through the last maybe year, even like in the post-COVID era, which is that a group of friends gather, and instead of renting the rooms alone, they rent maybe a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment for themselves. So they do one booking and they move in together, because it's like they have more trust on that, rather than sharing an apartment with someone that they don't know. So yeah.
All right, awesome. And what would you say is like the price range, for for the most typical options that students may choose?
Yeah, actually, I have a report here, and we can find that in rooms, the average price in terms of offer are between 350 euros per room, up to 550. Okay, and after that, obviously, it can depend. No, if you have an ensuite bathroom, if you have a balcony, depending on the area, maybe sands, less courts, which are like the Esquerra, which are like the most like crowded or demanded areas, maybe you can find higher prices there, maybe 450 to 550, 600 euros. Normally, these prices are a little bit higher, especially pre-COVID. Uh, we could find accommodation between 400, 450 euros up to 700, 750. So right now the prices are quite lower, and it's a good opportunity to book.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. And I mean, what sort of recommendations would you give to students looking for, say, an apartment? Because you know there are lots of things that students need to consider. As you said, there are lots of different options out there. No, so
Yeah.
what would be the first recommendations you give to any student that's looking?
Yeah, my first recommendation would be start looking with some time. Uh, we usually find a lot of I don't know, risky students which rent like the day before they travel to Spain, and that's when they book a property there. Remember that right now, and with not only with Spotahome, but you can find also a few other platforms for online rentals for mid to long term bookings. Still, the the most time you may have or you can have to search and to really look at the different options that you could have and solve all the doubts that you may have, and to understand that sending a request, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be accepted at the very first time. It's pretty much like Airbnb. It depends on the calendars, on the profile that the listers are looking for. So if you can start searching right now or in a few months, if you want to move during September, October, that would be my first recommendation. If you have doubts because the listings doesn't have all the information that you may need to take the decision, you should ask. Spotahome has a bookings team and a sales and customer support team, which are there for you and to solve all the doubts that you may have. You have a form where you can escalate, or if you have an issue or if you have any inquiry, you can contact us, and we will be there for you, to help you. But for me, that to be cautioned.
Awesome, awesome. That's a really great tip to have, no? Like
Yeah.
start booking with time and yeah, that's a really good tip. And another question here, like what would you say or I mean when what kind of apartment would you recommend for students? I mean, I know it depends, but like what would be like the top kind of apartments that normally are the first ones that are taken? Like, in your experience, what would you say students normally look for?
Room shared apartments. I mean, and finding a room in a shared apartment, it's still like the top in both demand and supply. There you have plenty of options. And important, I forgot to tell you, not only looking with time and searching, with a little bit of time, but also being as clear as possible when submitting your request, giving as much information about your profile. What are you gonna study? Where? How are you gonna take care of the expenses and the bills and the rent? That's super important for the landlords in order to make a decision, because as I said, you can have plenty of options, but you have a lot of students from all over the world looking for accommodation. And that's if you want a room, maybe that's what's gonna happen. You will have a lot of options there. uh, but also, if you want to live by yourself, if you want to be alone, or if you want to travel with a group, if you are a group of 3, 4 people, try to book an apartment, a whole apartment for yourself. That's like a good idea. And if you want to live by yourself, you can find a lot of studios, like super spacious studios, where you can live in a good area. Always trying to have like metro stations and bus stations near your place, and or good communication between the university or the business school and your place. Barcelona, it's like, I don't know if you have been able to take a look at Barcelona in the map, but it's super well organized. So for that, that's another recommendation, to look for that.
Awesome, perfect. Do you have any specific recommendations for non-EU students that are that will be starting their program, in October, or that normally would start? Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important here that you take a deep look into the legal requirements for the visa. Okay, especially you can go to actually, I want to share with you a website from the government here, where you can find a lot of useful information there. But you can go into the council, to the Spanish council in your state or near in your city. It's like the first thing you need to do. Okay, they will ask you for the acceptance letter and the length of what you're going to study. What are you going to study? How are you going to take care of yourself there? If you're going to pay it by yourself, or if you have parents or someone representing you, which is going to take care of the bills. And if you have obviously permission to travel and go abroad, especially to Spain. And that's like a good point of start here. Okay, in Spotahome and many landlords, when you require a visa and you have to to give like the accommodation certificate, the contract or something, we can make you a letter so you can send to the institution where you are asking for the visa. Okay, uh, like a proof of accommodation here, because that's another requirement that the government's gonna ask for. Okay, so do a good research here. Okay, try to investigate that. It doesn't come like from one day to the other. It usually takes some time, so that's really important as well. Actually, I'm gonna share with you here on the chat. uh, I think um, okay, I'm gonna send it to you.
All right.
I don't know if you could have it, because this is not allowing me to send it to everyone. Okay, great.
I'll share it to everyone here.
Great.
So I think everyone should have received it. Awesome. Well,
Great,
that's a
Solo.
great tip for non-EU students
Yeah.
to bear in mind, that if they're booking an apartment with you with Spotahome, they would always have a letter from you that ensures the
Yeah.
Spanish embassy or consulate that their accommodation is all taken care of for the
Yeah.
period of their studies. So um,
And
awesome.
yeah, and another thing here, you have something called empadronamiento, which is like a certificate that shows that you are actually living in the property. Okay, and the minimum time requirement for applying to that, it's 6 months. So you need to have a contract, a rental contract for at least 6 months, so you can go to the city hall and ask for the padrón. Okay, and that's going to be super useful for you, because then you can domiciliate bills there, like if you're going to pay for electricity, and it's going to be in your name, the bill, or for the telephone, or if your country ask you for the domiciliation certificate, you need to know all this. Okay.
Awesome. And that's also a great tip for EU students as well,
Yeah.
because everybody that lives in Spain should inform the authorities of where they live. So they need to go
Yeah.
through a registry, a house registry system, which is the empadronamiento. So
Yeah.
that's always going to be something that you will need to do, whether you're an EU or non-EU student. So it's great to know that, you know, if you reserve
Correct.
an apartment for 6 months, you would have access to the certificate that you need to show the authorities. So
Yeah.
awesome. We have a question here from Netta,
Okay.
which she's asking about neighborhoods that you would say are the best to live in. Also, most importantly, in terms of security, safety.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, actually, in Barcelona, you have plenty of really good neighborhoods where you can live in. All the part from l'Eixample, okay, l'Eixample, la Dreta de l'Eixample. If you go to a map, it's like more or less near to La Sagrada Familia, for example, like a little bit higher. Then you have Les Corts, which is another good place to live. Sands, it's a really good place as well, but it depends. I mean, you have El Raval, for example. It's a place where you can find a lot of accommodation. It's like more bohemian, but people, if you're not used to this kind of bohemian like neighborhoods, maybe you can feel a little bit unsafe there. So it depends on that, and also how close or how far do you want to be from the school. So if you want to be like as close as possible and you want a good zone, I would recommend Les Courts, for example.
Awesome, awesome, perfect. I also have a question about safety, but I guess this would
Yeah.
be safety and security while doing a search online. So
Okay.
obviously, with Spotahome website, you filter out a lot of
Yeah.
the property owners that can actually give listings on your site. So it's a very secure site for students who are looking for accommodation.
Yeah.
But there are other options, no? And students,
Of
I think
course.
it's really important for students to know things to look out for before making any reservations. So if
Yeah.
you can just touch a bit on that topic, that would be awesome.
Yeah, actually, in Spotahome, one of our main like points of the value proposition is the fact that we verify the properties. Okay, we have home checkers deployed in every city that we are working at, and these are like professional photographers who go to the property and they take pictures. They do a floor like a floor map. They record a video and they do like some sort of a video tour of the property, and they show you not only like the good things, because if you are the owner, you'll try to use the best pictures and to edit as much as you can and avoid, maybe if you have some things that are not quite okay on the apartment, you can tend to avoid that. While when we send the home checkers, if something's not working properly, he's gonna show you that in the pictures and in the video. Okay, and this is a way of guaranteeing that the apartment is just as you're looking at it. Okay, especially because you are doing a 100% online transaction here. It's not, you have classified pages here where you can ask for a visit and come to Spain and then go to the apartment and take a look at it. No, here all the process is online. Okay, so also we have a trust and safety team and the account management team where I'm part of, where we verify the profiles of the landlords and the owners that are working with us. And if something's not quite right, we try to gather as much proof as possible that these landlords are in fact entitled to rent those apartments, and the apartments and the landlords are real. Okay. And not only with this part, but also with bad actors. When we detect bad practices across our portfolio, we automatically unpublish those accounts or take like serious measures here, because we are an intermediate between landlords and tenants, but we are looking for the best user experience for from both sides. So yeah, we are like super uh, picky and crazy about this part, because it's the most important part of the entire process. But not only with us. If you search on another platforms, maybe you can find some like similar um, services or security measures. So what I would recommend is to understand how each platform works, and how each one of them, or each one of us, are taking care of the safety of our tenants. And depending on that, if you have doubts, not only Spotahome but everyone else will have contact forms and a way of getting in touch, and you know feeling like safer during the process.
Awesome, awesome, great, Chavi. And that's actually one of the reasons why we recommend your portal, because we know that you do go through a lot of verification processes, so students can really be sure that what they find on your website is has been verified, is legitimate, has been checked, and they can rent those properties with full assurance. So that's awesome. Well, let's get into more about your services. Okay,
Okay.
so what kind of services do you provide for students? So if a student comes to your website,
Yeah.
what should they expect from the get-go?
First of all, having, as I said, a 100% online experience, which needs to be like extremely easy and intuitive. Okay. Basically, once you start searching for accommodation, you can find different filters, so you can go into verified apartments and rooms only, so you can avoid the unverified, the ones that the owners are publishing with their own pictures because they are booked or they're not available to verify at the moment. So you can filter all that. Look all the information, the requirements. Maybe they can ask you for the acceptance letter of the university, your ID or passport. You can, take a look at the bills. You can have all the information of your accommodation in each listing. Okay. In case that you are missing something, you can contact us. But still, if you agree with renting one of our rooms or apartments, you can do your request. Okay, you can fill your information, and that request is going to be sent automatically to the landlord. And if they are okay with your profile and the calendars are correct and everything, they will accept your booking, and you will have accommodation like uh, in 24 hours. Okay, that's the average time where we try to close the bookings. Sometimes the landlords cannot answer that fast, but still, that's the first part. After that, um, you will pay through Spotahome, sorry, the first month of rent, okay, and we will keep it as a guarantee until you move in to the place. I mean, we are not gonna pay anything to the landlord. We keep that first month's rent with us, and after your check-in, if everything's okay, you don't have any incidences, or you have a complaint, but we can solve it and everything keeps going as it should, uh, 48 hours after that moment, we are gonna send the money to the landlord. Okay, not before that. So if you have any problems, if you have, I don't know, a force majeure reason to not travel to Spain, or because of COVID measures and restrictions, you need to stay where you are and you cannot come here, you need to change the dates or whatever you need to do, you will have a support team there for you, okay, to assist you and help you solve the issue that you may have in the best way possible. Okay.
Awesome. That's perfect. And what I mean, would you say, or so it takes about 24 hours for a student to know if they've been accepted or not. After they do get the acceptance, like, is there anything else they need to, or is it really just show up at the apartment when when they want to start, like, moving
No.
in?
Yeah. After the booking gets accepted and the payment is made through Spotahome, both tenants and landlords will receive the contact information from each other. Okay. After that, I strongly recommend to contact directly your landlord, get in touch with him, and instead of waiting until the very last moment. Okay, because here you have some extra things that you need to do. You have to um, give the security deposit of the apartment. Sometimes it's if you are going to a room in a room share apartment, sometimes it can be a fixed amount of 300 euros maybe for the security deposit. This is an amount that you're gonna get back after you do the check-in, in case that everything is okay and the landlord does not need to make any, like, repair anything or do any maintenance uh, after you move out. Okay, but and it can be 1 month's rent, so you have to coordinate with your landlord, to manage this part of the security deposit, to sign the contract, the rental contract that you're going to receive, to take care of the bill part. Sometimes if you're going to stay for maybe 1 year, it's way easier to do a SEPA agreement, which is basically a payment domiciliation to your bank account. So for that, you need to sign the agreement there. So also for the time of your arrival, if you have any special needs upon your arrival, I mean, all of that, the best thing you can do is start, you know, contacting your landlord first of all, and managing everything that you need with him.
Okay, so just so that it's all clearly understood. So once after the security deposit payment that that the rentee would pay to the owner through you, through Spotahome, and you keep that until the rentee safely gets into the apartment. All of the next payments is made directly to the landowner.
Yeah, exactly. After that, after we release the first payment to the owner or to the agency, because you can find huge landlords, which are much bigger structure and additional services. After that, you're gonna pay each month, depending on what you already established with the company or with the owner, every month your rent and the bills. Okay, so all of that is directly with the landlord. So we don't. It's like a way of avoiding bureaucracy there. No, you don't have to depend on us every month to do the payments and etc. You can, you know, be in touch with the landlord and understand directly with him.
Awesome, awesome. And what extra support do students have, like, once they're actually in the apartment? So say, they've been in the apartment for a month and a half, and, they need support. Can they count on you for that on Spotahome?
Yeah, of course. We recommend to first of all get in touch with your landlord, okay? Because depending on the issue that you may have, like 80 or 90% of the times, those are issues that needs to be solved by the landlord. For example, I don't know, you have a water leak, or the fridge broke down, or I don't know, you're having a personal conflict with someone inside the apartment. The best thing you can do there is, first of all, get in touch with your landlord, and if the issue has not been resolved after that, then you can contact us and we will mediate there and find the best solution so you can be okay. Okay. And not only that, because you have a lot of easy issues, but imagine that you need to relocate because whatever, something happened, you cannot live in that room or in that apartment anymore. We can help you find accommodation with extra discounts, special discounts. Okay. So you will have also a team there for like the most like serious cases, which are like less than 1%, but still, if that happens, you will be covered by Spotahome there, and you'll have assistance from our side.
Awesome, awesome, great, Chubby. And final question,
Yeah.
maybe before asking our audience here if they have any specific questions they wanna ask. I mean, what is the price of the service? So we talked about the deposit and the
Yeah.
monthly rent, but I mean, do you charge a service fee for helping students secure apartments in Barcelona?
Yeah, actually, depending on the type of accommodation, we have fixed fees, okay, which can go from 150 euros to maybe 350 euros, okay, depending on the number of rooms and the type of accommodation that you're looking for. But for example, here it's super common to have the entire month of fee or of commission from like more traditional agencies. Okay. In our case, if you're renting a room for 1 year, you will pay about 140 euros only for the Spotahome services and all the support after you close the booking. So yeah, and actually, with our partners, for example, obviously with the say, you can have extra like a special discount with promo codes that you only need to put the promo code once you are trying to close the request to send it to the landlord. You use your promo code and you'll have a 20% of discount there.
Awesome, perfect. So those are extra perks that
Yeah.
our SA students have when using your services. So yeah, like these are basically all of the questions that I have from my side.
Okay.
Before opening up, I did have Mateo who sent me a question about well, rent, no? Like, so
Okay.
he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, yeah? But from what I gather in his question, if he wants to move to Barcelona at the end of September, obviously
Yeah.
because our programs start in October, so he wants to come a bit before. When does he start needing to pay for rent? So if he finds something that's available
Yeah.
for the last week of September, does he need to pay the full month of September and then start paying month from October as well? Or does he just pay for the month he's in September and then start paying monthly from October?
It depends. You can find both things, okay? One of the parameters that you're gonna find through our listings, it's actually the type of contract, okay? So we have three types, which are daily, fortnightly, and monthly. It means that if you find a room or a studio with a daily type of contract, you will pay. If you move in the September 27th and you move out on June 15th, you'll pay from the 27th to the 15th. Okay, but if the type of contract is fortnightly, you will pay like that for the second half of September from the 16th, and you will pay the first half of June before moving out. And if you have a monthly contract, I mean, when you're getting like closer and closer to the end of the month, it's more like it's easier to negotiate with the landlord that part. I mean, if you're moving in the 29th and the landlord has a monthly contract, you can get in touch with us and we can negotiate with the landlord so they charge you only for that day or maybe a few days, okay? Not for the entire month. But you can find the different types there, and I recommend you to read everything. And again, if you have any doubts, please reach out to us so we can help you.